Hello, back out again. My son Trav.
Hello.
Hello. Today we are doing the second largest, so a real beast, estate on the South Downs National Park, which is Arundel and Angmering. I'm going to quickly flick you around and show you where we are to start with. That is a folly called Hiorne, Hiorne Tower, a little plaque to commemorate it. So we're in a place called Arundel Park. We'll get some shots of the castle at some point, but yeah, we're at Hiorne Tower. So I'll turn you back. So yeah, we're having a nice little walk around the Arundel Estate. I will talk about it. I'll tell you what, if we come around this way, we can have the tower in the background. It's a folly. I will do another video at some point which will cover that. But yeah, so today, Arundel and Angmering, 16,000 acres, more than the National Trust in the South Downs National Park. Number 2, and there's an old saying here, I'll read it out to you. Since William rose and Harold fell, there have been earls at Arundel. And that reads a plaque at the castle. So you can take it from that. It is a very old estate, old family. They go back to divided into. So we're going to talk in a little bit. We're going to go across and over the top of the river. We'll talk about who owns it, the family, a bit of the history, a little anomaly about angling, which we'll talk about. So yeah, we'll catch you in a minute. Just had to show you a quick shot of the view down to the river. So yeah, we'll go down there and then follow it along back towards the castle. Okay. Right, we're a bit further on. We've walked down into the little valley bit towards the river. It's heaving with people. It's really popular here, really lovely. Anyway, I'm rambling. So let's talk a bit more about Arundel, second biggest landowner in the South Downs National Park. I'll talk about the family. So the estate castle is owned by the Duke of Norfolk. His name is Edward FitzAlan Howard. He's the 18th Duke of Norfolk and was born in 1956. Now, here's a mouthful. I'll give you some of his titles. 18th Duke of Norfolk, 36th Earl of Arundel, 19th Earl of Surrey, 16th Earl of Norfolk, 13th Baron Beaumont, 26th Baron Maltravers, 17th Baron FitzAlan, 16th Baron Clun, 16th Baron Oswaldestra, and 5th Baron Howard of Glossop, plus he's Earl Marshal of England. So he inherited the estate in 2002. He's the most senior peer in England, and he automatically goes into the House of Lords. The family have always been Roman Catholic, and they all descend from Edward I. First Duke of Norfolk was John Howard, and the Duke of Norfolk was given the title in 1397 by Richard II when the Earls of Norfolk expired. And in 1401 the Mowbray family took over. They were related. 1483 John Howard named first Duke in titles, and then it remained with his descendants till then. Sorry that sounded a bit rushed. It's just there's so many people. I'm doing it in between. So we'll carry on in a bit. Just had to show you this beautiful little lake. Absolutely lovely, heaving with birds. Castle is up there. You may be able to see it. Loads of people. Right, I'll turn the camera around. Okay, we found a little bench, a bit more relaxed. It's heaving, but it doesn't matter because we've got this place to ourselves. So I was going to talk a bit about the history. I'm going to tell you about Angmering, a bit of a rinky-dink there, and then we'll probably get a bit closer to the castle and talk about the castle. So a bit more about the history. So the Earls of Arundel also became the Dukes of Norfolk and Earl Marshal of England. So they oversee the royal coronation and funerals. So you would have seen the Earl of Arundel at the Queen's funeral recently, and then of course we've got Charles's coronation coming up, so he'd be involved in that. A bit back and forth with it. So they were stripped of the title in 1547, and the Duke was imprisoned for remaining Catholic. So I don't know if you've ever seen that film Elizabeth. Oh, there's quite a few knocking around, but there's one where the Duke of Norfolk is played by Christopher Eccleston. and he plays an important part. It's all about that. So if you want to know a bit about that, I'd watch that film. And then in 1553 he was released and his lands were restored by Bloody Mary. That was Queen Mary, who was Catholic. So but basically they're a Catholic family. There's a Catholic church. They've always been a Catholic family. So in 1572 the title was stripped again by Elizabeth I, all over Catholicism. And then in 1660 they got the title back because Charles II, who was then on the throne, had Catholic sympathies. So there you go. There was a bit of back and forth, basically because they supported Catholicism, which is a whole chunk of history in itself. So what I wanted to do was also mention a little bit about angmering. So the place I looked it up, which I will put a link at the end of these videos, basically 16,000 acres, but that includes angmering. So what's going on there? Angmering Park Estate is an offshoot of 6,750 acres offshoot, and it's owned by the trustees of Bernard the 16th Duke of Norfolk, who died in 1975, and it's owned for the benefit of his daughters. So what's that all about? Well, basically, as you probably know from other videos, ladies aren't allowed to inherit titles, and it's very archaic, but it's still the case. Anything below the monarchs, they still can't inherit. So he had no sons and 4 daughters, so he couldn't give them the title, and they don't want to break up the land, but at least he did the sort of decent thing, because he couldn't pass them the title. He actually put a chunk of land in trust for them, so the 4 daughters. There's one surviving who's called Lady Teresa, and she was born in 1945, and the dukedom from Bernard the 16th actually passed to his second cousin. So that's why angmering is separate. Now I do not know, it's been included in the list I was using. I don't know if there's something in the trustees that means it gets handed back when there's no more heirs. I have no idea how that works, but it is included because it's a sort of offshoot. Anyway, yeah, so that's angmering, that's history. Next bit, we should get a little bit closer to the castle, I'm hoping, and we'll just talk about the castle for the last bit. You having fun?
Yes.
Yeah, it's lovely. Okay, we'll catch you in a minute. Okay, we are a bit further on, and right behind us is Arundel Castle, which is quite apt because that's the last bit of what we're chatting about today, is the castle itself. So yeah, Arundel Castle, originally it was a motte and bailey, they all were. It was granted to Roger de Montgomery, who was a cousin of William the Conqueror. So he gave him the Arundel Rape, R-A-P-E, which was where Sussex was divided into 6 strips, which I could talk about in other videos. But yeah, so this is Arundel, very powerful castle, was quite high up, it would have had a commanding view, still does. So yeah, that's Arundel Castle. Sorry, it's very windy here. They started building it in 1067, so that was straight after William had come over. There's been a few little battles and things. So in 1643 it was besieged during the Civil War, and the Royalists had to surrender after 18 days, so they were defending it. In 1653 Parliament ordered a slighting of the castle, which is basically where they fire cannons at it to damage it and reduce its military potential. Now a lot of other castles, sorry about the wind, were slightly ruined doing that, like Bramber, Knepp. So yeah, we lost a lot of heritage through that, but obviously with Arundel it was a home of Dukes of Norfolk, so they rebuilt it. In 1787 there were improvements made. In 1846 Queen Victoria, I'll turn around actually because of the wind, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert visited, and then there were more improvements between 1875 and 1905. I'll give you a shot of the castle, and it's amazing. It's probably the most well preserved one in Sussex. So yeah, that is Arundel Castle, masses of history. So I'm guessing we're heading back along the river now, walking along the River Arun. We'll catch you back at the car. See you in a bit. Okay, back in the car. That was lovely. We didn't get rained on, which was good. So that is number 2 of the 12 largest landowners on the South Downs National Park, who own 25%. So that was Arundel, in brackets angmering. Watch the video to explain that. So yeah, it was great. What do you think, Trav?
A good walk.
It was a good walk. So, one more to go, the big daddy of the lot. So we shall see you next time then. Bye.
Goodbye.